Yo, what's going on, people? Good to see you guys again. It's 101 here, and we're back with our thoughts on Martin Odegaard. And yes, guys, this is it. Martin Odegaard has signed for Arsenal. I did shoot a video earlier on in the day just when it happened, but I thought, what's the point of me doing a video, then coming home, editing it, and when I can just sit here and talk to you guys? So I thought I better go live today and get a feel from the fan base of what they feel and their thoughts are on Martin Odegaard. Vincey, how you doing, bro?
Yeah, man, I'm all good, admin. I'm all good, man. What's going on, family? We finally got him. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Big
for
name,
real.
big captain. You
The
know what I
tailors
mean?
live in three different houses, but it's
So
Oh
you
God,
know, at the
hold
end of
up.
the day, we have to be grateful. It's a shame that it's late. That's something Arsenal really need to get sorted out. But yeah, we've had half a season. We saw what he can do, and 5 years, good length of time, man. I'm pleased.
It is. I'm really impressed with these young deals that they're doing at the moment now. I did talk about them previously before, but in the days of Aaron Ramsey, where you do a 3 year or 4 year contract, and then their contract winds down as soon as that person starts to produce the goods, it's very difficult to have a keyhole in that person's future when you don't get a good deal. And now all of these youngsters are signing 5 year contracts. If Aaron Ramsey was to do that, he would have never been able to run down his last deal and things would have been different, things would have changed. So I think this gives you a lot of options as the team who the player plays for in regards to what you can get for the player, how much the player is committed to the team, and it's all about evaluation. But I just really want to say it's some solid business from Arsenal. A few people in the fan base I can see is sort of trying to poo poo on the deal. And I don't think this is a situation where we should do that. I think the fact that he was Arsenal's number one target all along from the start of transfer, this is the guy they wanted. This is the guy who made a huge difference in the team well, not last season, but the second half of the season when him and Smith Rowe came in and everything just started clicking, which is a major problem for Arsenal. And when you look at creativity, chances created, shots on goal, everything across the board, this guy helped to fix that. And not only that, but he was Arteta's first choice. There's a lot of times Smith Rowe was on the bench because this guy was preferred. Again, Vincy, we're going to have a look at some things here as we move on. We'll look at first of all how much. Let me get rid of this. Right, we'll look at really how much he affected play when he was with Arsenal. Now, if we look here, remember he didn't play for the full season, but when he played, he was fourth in assists, first in expected assists, chances created. He was first in the team. He created over two scoring chances per game. His final third passes completions. This is something we sadly lacked against Brentford. He was also first in the team, 20.16 chances in the final third. Arsenal's biggest problem. So when you look at, again, it says possessions won in attacking third. He was second in the team. So he also pressed as well. He pressed quite a bit. And Arteta really likes this player. Big shout out to Andrew. What's going on, Andrew? Good to see you, mate. So, Vincey, what's your thoughts on all of these last season over 90 minutes? You can see here, fourth in the team in one aspect, second in one, and first in three aspects of the team.
I think what we've got to take into consideration last season when he came, he wasn't fully fit. So that's one thing that he had to endure. And but you can see the quality that Martin showed once he got onto the ball. And for last season, it was a big case where he was so pivotal alongside Smith Rowe in being that player who can take us forward in our attack. So you can clearly see from these numbers here, he's a vital cog, vital when he's to be linked up with our strikers. The problem I guess fans have is how Arteta is really going to shape the team. And unfortunately, we haven't had a pre-season with Odegaard to to kind of help the team.
Yeah, getting a lot of feedback and hissing from your mic, Vincy.
There's a lot of feedback.
Yeah, a lot of hissing and a lot of static from your mic.
Okay, how's that?
It's better.
It's better.
Yeah, it's better, and you're a little bit louder too as well.
Okay. So yeah, I was just saying that it's a case where Arteta really has to get the shape of the team and the way how we play sorted quite quickly. It's a shame Odegaard wasn't there for pre-season, but it's a long season and he's gonna make a difference for us. The problem, as again, is Arsenal are very slow to. It's a shame that we at this stage again, where we're getting this caliber of player after the first game of the season. These things we've got to get these things sorted out.
I think that's more Carlo Ancelotti's fault than it is Arteta's, because it's the same thing with Joe Willock. Newcastle didn't have him for pre-season. He wasn't a part of their training, nutrition, all the dietitian stuff, all the strength training, pre-season, all the set-piece training they had to do. He weren't a part of that, but that's not Newcastle's fault. We needed to get Joe back. We needed to find out what was in his head, what he wanted, what we wanted to do. And that takes time. Joe Willock wanted to stay at Arsenal. There's no two ways about it. We wanted to sort of had another look at him. And I think when they looked at the money available, they just couldn't say no. And I'm going to translate that over to Real Madrid. So Real Madrid wanted to have a look at their commodity. And I call them commodities because that's what they are. And they took a look at him, and the problem is exactly the same thing that Arsenal had. So I'll explain what I mean by that. Real Madrid were trying to offload 2 or 3 players. We were trying to offload Xhaka, Bellerin, Lacazette, Bernd Leno. And the problem in this kind of market is there's just no money in the kitty for summer transfers for players who are over the hill and teams are trying to get rid of. And most of these players have actually failed in their positions. So when we translate this to Real Madrid, they were in the same situation. A lot of these players like Isco and that, they failed in their positions. We already know Gareth Bale was out on loan. But the thing was, if Isco had been sold, they would have kept Odegaard. But the problem is with these players like Willian for Arsenal, as I said, Bellerin and Xhaka and all these players, because they failed, there's absolutely no market value for them, because what little money teams have got, they're trying to use it to invest in a smart way. Arsenal have done that with bringing in the Conga, Tavares, Ben White. Money's been spent on young players. The type of players that we see like Xhaka and Willian and all that, no one's spending money on those players because you ain't going to learn anything from those players. They're hitting 30 years old, including Lacazette. They're hitting 30 years old. Isco was in that reign as well, and they couldn't shift him. So if you think about it in this way, Martin Odegaard with Real Madrid was like Willock for Arsenal. He's a young player. He's proven to be accessible and marketable and had value, had market value, which the other players that I mentioned did not have. So when you think of it in that respect, Real Madrid, it took them time to think about, because Martin Odegaard made it clear, I want to go back to Real Madrid. I want to be a part of the team. I want to play for one of the biggest teams in the world. That's anybody's dream. But I think, Vincy, in this situation, it came down to the fact that they couldn't shift their players and they looked at him as a commodity. They looked at him. Last year, they said he's worth 50 million. This year, they said, okay, COVID, 40 million. Arsenal was able to talk them down to 30 million, which is fantastic business. He's 22 years old, Norwegian captain. He's one of the most creative players that we've seen in a very long time, definitely by the numbers that we're looking at here on the screen. So this is a fantastic deal. And as I said, some fans are going to poo-poo on the deal and say, this guy's rubbish, he's no good, it's not what we need. He's everything that we need. And we have to continue, again, Vincy, I've got to remind Arsenal fans is Arsenal are in a different market. we cannot attract marquee players because we ain't even in the Champions League. We're not even in the Europa. We've got nothing to offer these players. So getting somebody like Odegaard is a win-win deal, Vincey.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy at the price. I'm happy at the length of the contract. I think personally, looking at Odegaard at Madrid, the moment Ancelotti went back there, Odegaard was up for sale in my eyes. And it was just a matter of time, as you say, to get the price down to affordable one that Arsenal can take advantage of. 30 mil is a steal for this caliber of player. I'm just sitting here thinking, I know you mentioned that Willock is the Arsenal equivalent to Odegaard going to Newcastle. But imagine if we had a transfer window where we got Sambi, we got Odegaard, and we actually kept Willock and we sold Xhaka.
Oh, wow.
Now you imagine, just sit there and you think, just look at these stats. Look at what these stats you're shown here, and then you've actually got another player who is actually mobile, who can go up and down, left either side, and can score goals. Look at what those assists. He may be fourth in assists, but you stop and you think, we haven't been clinical. We need somebody who's able to and comfortable in front of goal to put those chances, expected assists, in the back of the net. And that's where Arteta's biggest problem is really going to be in shaping the team, because to get a player of Odegaard's quality, you've got to get players around him who's going to put the ball in the back of the net. We've got to start to get clinical. And that's really where I would like to see us grow this season. It's a huge challenge, because for me, I think this is the biggest area where Arteta is actually failing and losing me as a fan of his tactics, where he's not getting the best out of his strikers. So, to get a player of Odegaard, guys, all those who loved Ozil, you may be frustrated about the way he looks to the eye test, but for a player of his technical ability, we've got Odegaard for 5 years. We should be positive, and hoping that at the end of the day, he's going to be linking up. Imagine Odegaard and Smith Rowe growing together, the likes of Saka and Pepe growing together. All we need is a striker who's going to be able to put those chances, or two strikers to put those chances away, and we're going to be turning our fortunes around. So it's good news today. Definitely good news with the signing of Odegaard for me.
Yeah, a lot of people have been saying, I get questions all the time in Boxed and everywhere else. The main question is, can he play together with Smith Rowe? I think what we've seen through that is you can play with two number 10s, providing you play with three at the back. It is a different type of setup, but it can work. And Arteta has done that. We've seen even last season in a few games, I think in 4 games, he did go with three at the back. 4 is his preferred, but when you've got two number 10s, it definitely gives you the options and flexibility. Options and flexibility is something Mikel Arteta is lacking. That's why it took him a whole 6 months. The first 6 months that he took charge of Arsenal, he played 3 at the back. Why? Because he didn't have the option to play 4 at the back. And as soon as he done some deals and got Gabriel, he brought Gabriel in. And obviously we know he's had David Luiz. And we know now that he's got Ben White. It gives him so much more things that he can do. Could you imagine a back 3 of Tierney, Gabriel, and Ben White? That will easily, because people talking about you need a right back. Well, you don't need one if you're playing with that formation, and then you can have 4 in the midfield, and then you can utilize a guy like Maitland-Niles, who's fantastic, absolutely fantastic in that position. Never put a foot wrong for Arsenal. So, guys, like I said, I'm not going to poo-poo on this deal. I think it's a really good day for Arsenal. I think it's a positive day, and I think when you set out your plans in the summer and you target one player to have, and that player was 50 million, and then you end up getting him for 30 million, I think that is job done. I think that's really good. Vince is right in terms of, I wish he was here in the preseason and he wasn't at the Brentford game. But I believe if they I think it's Friday lunchtime. So the numbers have to be in, the sheets have to be in before Friday lunchtime. And if they can submit the player and then he'll be able to play at the Chelsea game. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to be there on Sunday and I can't wait. If he steps out on the field, I'll feel a lot better in regards to us overturning Chelsea, because we've done quite well against Chelsea of late at the Emirates Stadium. But I just want us to be able to go there with the confidence knowing that we can take them out. I really want Martinelli to start as a striker. He didn't last week. I think it was the wrong choice to have Balogun as a striker in his first ever game. I gave him a 4 out of 10 for his first game. No fault of the player. He just ain't ready. He's just not ready for this. The runs he was making, the timing, everything was off. His hold-up play, it just wasn't at the level we needed. I would play Saka on the left and put Martinelli in the middle, and that's the team I would go with. I would go with Saka on the left. I'd go with Pepe on the right. I'd go with Martinelli in the middle, and I'd go with Odegaard and ESR. I'd put ESR in the midfield to paper up that, and then I would go with Odegaard. I'd go with 2 number 10s. Yeah, I don't care. I would do everything in order to try and combat Chelsea and snuff out their midfield, because their strength is in the midfield, and that's where we need numbers. But guys, fantastic. The medical's already done today, by the way. As I was driving up at 1 o'clock, I could see all the stuff, shenanigans, and the press passing London Coney. And when I parked the car, I said to them, "What's going on?" And a couple of guys said, Martin Odegaard's here having his medical. So that's when I parked my car over. I shot a video. I'm not even going to put it on YouTube because I decided to do something live here. So Vincey, he made 20 appearances of all competitions last season, 15 in the Premier League and 2 goals. But actually, what I want to talk about, let me get this up as well. Let me just change this screen. So guys, this is what 70 million. Can I blow this up a little bit? This is what 70 million and 30 million looks like. And I know we say 30 million, but he was a 50 million player, and we've just talked him down. They wanted to get deals done. Guys, a lot of teams are struggling for money now. We're hearing who's struggling for money. Leon has just come out this morning because they've seen that we've tried to get Maddison and Odegaard, and there's nobody that's coming for OR. And Leon said, look, guys, and it's difficult because when you're trying to buy a player, you're chasing them. Very rarely will a club chase you. And Leon are calling Arsenal now saying, what's going on? You still want OR? I think that we might be able to get him for 20 million. I think that if we can get him for 20 million, that would be fantastic. What did I say to you guys, Vincey, the other day? Didn't I say I don't want Maddison for 70 million? I'd rather get Odegaard, a goalkeeper, and if you could, a right back or a war. And it looks like exactly that is what's presenting itself to Arsenal. What's your thoughts here, Vincey?
Yeah, I mean, I just bemoan the fact that Arsenal right now are just offering. They have money. Yes, we would like more money from the owners, but they've had money, and it's about spending it wisely. 70 million for Maddison is just not good business in my eyes, especially when you've got the likes of Willian on that contract. You can't spend money like that. So, if you're going to get Aouar and you're going to get him at a really cheap price, then it's good business. That does give Arteta options, which he desperately does need.
Do you want me to clear up the money situation, Vincey? Explain how the money works here. Yeah. Right, so again, so this deal means that we've spent 106 million this summer. This probably ranks us number 2 in the Premiership in terms of money spent. But the actual money spent is now, including this deal, is 42 million, because the deals are structured over 3 of them over 3 years and 1 of them over 4 years. So it might seem that because remember, Arsenal's broke. Arsenal are struggling, back-to-back year losses in the market. So we know Arsenal are struggling for money. But the good thing about getting the fans back in the stadium is that's 144 million that they've got from season ticket holders, gate ticket money, concessions. That money's now back. So now you can start to do a little bit more planning in terms of who you buy, how you pay for it. So it might look on the surface that Arsenal's got tons of money, but realistically, as I said before, they're front loading everything, and it's going to come to an end where in the future, we may not be able to spend as much, which I don't have a problem with, because I'd rather do that, Vincey. I'd rather spend it all now, get the players in, and then let them grow over the years.
And that's the thing, other clubs have done it. Liverpool have done it, but you've got to spend wisely. And, just because Maddison has got, you see his stats there, that's still not a 70 million player in my book. It'll be painful for me as a die-hard football fan, to pay 70 million for Maddison in the situation that Arsenal are in. We can't do it. We've got to stop doing those contracts like what we did with, yes, he's not the age of Willian, but that contract, criminal. Can't do it. We can't be desperate. We can't be looked to be desperate when we in the transfer market, and clubs can see us from a mile off with that mindset. So I'm pleased that we've got Odegaard. If we can get at that price, if you can get Owa at a cheap price, even better. But again, these guys, we laud in their talents, Odegaard and Owa, but the strikers, they've got to get that sorted out. I mean, I'm a big believer in Martinelli. I understand why Arteta didn't play Saka on the left. The guy's, he's had a long season last year, fans. We've got to keep this in mind. A long season, played for England. Yeah, we can't burn him out, but at the same time, we need him. It showed last season the way how he, if it wasn't for him at the start or in the middle, and then Pepe at the end, don't know where we'd be. So we've got to be able to manage our players. This season, we're not in Europe, so it gives us more time to rest and recuperate after games. But Saka will get his chance. I'm not too upset that Balogun got his first start, because you know what? That's huge. The guy signed. He could have gone somewhere else. And, it's a nice touch for me with the foolishness with Laka and Aubameyang that, Aubameyang got the opportunity to start. And it's great that Martinelli's back here. So, you know what? I believe in our youth. I just want our youth to have a structure and a formation to express themselves, because these guys can play. They want to play for the badge, and Odegaard wants to play for Arsenal. So that is a huge thing. We've got someone who loves the club, wants to play for us.
So, as I said, let's take a look at these numbers now. So, what stands out to me, guys, is that Odegaard has played 11 games less than Maddison over the last few seasons. It does say since the start of 2019, 2020. And remember, Odegaard was... sorry, I'm getting some feedback from Vincey there. And remember, Odegaard was out. He was sort of inactive before we picked him up for a loan. So that's the reason why Maddison's played more games. But they've both got the same assists. So when you look at that, I think that's really positive. His passing accuracy is also higher. So he's a better passer on the field. Only by 3%, but everything counts. I do like Maddison. I'm not going to say I've been one of the first people that talked about Maddison for a long time, but I always said I wouldn't pay more than 50 million for Maddison. And that Jack Grealish deal just sent Maddison's stock into the universe. It just sent it out into the stratosphere. And look at the chances created. That is bonkers. And that for me is why I would have paid 50 or maybe even 60 million. But I think when they started to take the piss, when Leicester said 65, 70, when they saw we were really interested and they were raising the stock, and then they wouldn't take a player in, we were offering them Maitland-Niles and all this other stuff. When they were just playing silly bollocks, we just walked away from the deal. And remember, the players not getting on with them. So that, look, if you try and... It's the same thing we did with Xhaka, isn't it? We could have sold Xhaka for 12, 15 million. We wanted 20, and now we got stuck with the problem child. So it's one of those things. You take what's given and you move on. Yeah? You take what's given and you move on. Let's get some feedback from you guys of what you think this deal's like. Adrian says 30 million is a good price. Fantastic. I totally agree. Kuke saying, well said. Kuke saying, love seeing Oda back, clearly knows what it means to play for us and works to play regularly. He's the perfect age 2 years. They're all under 23, mate. They're all under 23, and they're leaders as well. This guy's a leader for his national team. Lokonga, captain, Andele, they're all leaders, and that's what we need. We need these young leaders like, Saka, Smith Rowe, Now you get 2 more young leaders. You get Ben White, who was a leader at Brighton. It's good business. Adrian says we still need an actual 8. I think that what they might do is drop Smith Rowe into that, and so they got Smith Rowe at the 8, Odegaard at the 10, and then they can work themselves within. I always, from 3 years ago, when Smith Rowe was 17, always said he was our natural replacement for Ramsey. Maybe this is the time that Smith Rowe can get the job done, because the question is now, and this is a very difficult question, is who do you drop? Yeah, Smith Rowe, Saka, Pepe, Martinelli, they all can't play together. So like I said to you, I would play Saka on the left, Pepe on the right, Martinelli at the point as the main striker, Odegaard as the number 10, and I would put Smith Rowe in the midfield as an 8. I would just drop him into the 8 spot. That's what I would do. And that's the only way I can move forward. It's a young, productive, exciting line, and that's how I would move forward with it. Daniel, my cousin, what's going on, Daniel? Hope you're. This is a really feel-good factor. It's a nice video. No ranting, no negativity here. So if any of you want to bring that in the chat, I'm gonna fling you out. Yeah, because we're not here to poo-poo on the team. We're not here. We're not gonna do that. G says, I'm certain it would be a crowd favorite when he makes his second debut. Now a few more similar signings up, and we can be back on the right track. This is a guy who's Arteta out, by the way. 18 says, very positive, lads. We need this. Andrew says, it's important to accept and understand we cannot compete with Man City financially. Therefore, the strategy is to ensure they're not making desperate signings and having these release prospects simply to raise funds. Agreed. Facebook user, Vincey, can you see who that is on Facebook? Hold on. Oh, it's Randall. It's not Randall. That's Johnson. Johnson says, can't wait to get him back 100%. Yeah, and as I said, if he signs if they submit the roster number to the FA before 12 o'clock, before lunchtime on Friday, he will be able to play against Chelsea. Andrew says, a combination of smart transfers and youth from an academy is essential for Arsenal to begin a journey forward. And again, another thing, guys, how much are these players that we bought going to be worth in the next 2-3 years? What's the market value for Lokonga going to be after he proves that Vincent Kompany was right, that he was as good as Cesc Fabregas? Look, I don't even need him to be that good. I just need him. If you're half as good as Cesc Fabregas, that is a bonus to Arsenal Football Club. Jared, good to see you, Jared. Jared said, good day. Yeah, it is a good day, bro. It says, big up Apollo. Even when I disagree with him, he still likes my comments. Look, we're not here to agree or disagree with everybody. We're here to listen to your views. So whether I agree or disagree with anybody that follows 101, what's important is that I hear your thoughts. I want to hear what you have to say. That's what's important to me. Yeah. Not that I agree with it or not. I want to know what's going on inside your head. Alex, good to see you, bro. Good day to be an Arsenal fan, Alex. Very good day. Sentiment says, Odegaard, by stats, looks like an Arteta player, so it's risk adverse. Maddison is definitely willing to risk it. Yeah, Maddison would have been a massive risk. Could you imagine if we'd have spent all that money on him? Oh, if we hadn't learned from the Pepe deal, we were never going to learn from it. And I was told from some agents that Arsenal were only looking to spend the 20, the 30 million type deals in this transfer, and we would not be looking at 60, 70 million. So I was surprised when they went into Maddison, but I'm not surprised that they pulled out. Zentiment says, Vincey, you forget fans are fickle, yeah, and inconsiderate. Yeah, they are. Unfortunately, we're going to get that. Lionheart says, I'm sorry, but our young players aren't that great compared to other teams. Okay, so I'm going to say what I said last season. The young players are a means to an end. They are a way to build this transfer forward. They may not be great now, but the hope is that they will be great down the road. What we do know, Lionheart, is that our veterans are trash. Our veterans have stunk up the joint. When they played for the first part of last season, the first half of last season, this team was 14th. So when anybody has anything to say against the young players, I will defend these young players to the hilt, because with our young players, we were able to turn the season around and improve on that horrible start that the veterans, these highly played 200, 350 grand a week players were making, just stunk up the joint. So in my perspective, young players all day long, my friend. Sentiment says, Apollo, turn up Vince's mic. Yes, I think he's already fixed it, mate. Randall, good to see you, Randall. Randall says the energy should be different in the team now. Yeah, because they've got somebody who's a baller. We looked at the numbers. What's the numbers again? Let's have a look at them. We looked at the numbers. First in expected assists, first in the team in chances created, first in the team in final third passes completed, and second, this is important, guys, second in possession won in the attacking third. So this guy presses, the back line, he presses defenders and wins the ball back. So important for what Arteta wants to do. People have to realize it's not just about the activity. That's why I talk up Eddie Nketiah so much, because you can be great on the ball. The question is are you good off the ball? Tony says, evening, gents, can't join as work calls, but we'll watch it later. No problem, Tony, man. I just wanted to get up here and spread some positivity among the fan base. Curved is saying, sit up, Vincey. I think he has sit up at the moment. Everybody's on Vince.
Do you know what it is? I'm relaxed in the chair, in the lounger, and I'm sitting up, but it's a low back. So you know what I mean? That's how I am, man. That's how I roll.
But it's good to get some feedback from these guys here. Randall's saying, I remember when Smith Rowe was making them deep runs. And that's what I'm saying. I like him at, you know what? I've always liked him at the 8 rather than the 10. I know there's this big issue about him being the 10, but I've said for years he's the natural successor to Aaron Ramsey. And now we're going to see that this guy has the effort and the work rate to make those runs into the box. If you put him further back in the midfield, he will go in unmarked. I mean, when you look at against Brentford, who was the most busiest player on the pitch? It was Smith Rowe. But that's a lot of pressure to be put in on such young shoulders. And remember, Saka didn't come on until later on in the game. Martinelli wasn't great. Pepe wasn't great. That's not going to happen all the time. Callum Chambers wasn't great. It's not going to happen all the time. These guys are normally 90% of the time on their game. So, yeah, look, we'll take it on the chin. We lost. Let's move on. And I think we're building to something which is positive. And I can only hope that when Thomas Partey comes back, the midfield will consist of Lokonga, Partey, and Smith Rowe. That's it. I don't want to see anything more. I don't want to hear anything about he who shall not be named. I don't want to hear anything about, any other player coming in. Again, we need to move away. I'm a big El Nene fan, but we need to move away from Xhaka and El Nene. We need to move away from that, and we need to start to build. It's a shame Joe Willett couldn't stay, but, it is what it is. And when sorry, go on, Vincey.
Sorry, I was going to say, what I'm looking forward to with Partey coming back is after seeing Lokonga play the way he played, and with this reputation from company on his young shoulders, if he is Cesc-like, with his ability, it's going to be interesting to see how this season develops with Lokonga taking over that role, whereas fans, we expecting Partey to be the one driving forward. If Lokonga's got that within him, this guy is going to stand up, if it's not this season, next season, and overtake Partey in that attacking role. Because I know fans on Partey's back because his shooting's not there. But if Lokonga can link with Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Saka, Pepe, and the front guys, he's going to be the one who's going to be dictating in the midfield. He's not looking at Partey because Partey can get back, but the silkiness of Lokonga, I'm really excited to see how that develops this year, and I just hope Arteta can get that out of him, because if he's got it, that's what we need. That's what we need in that role. We don't want that player sitting back and doing all these last minute ditch tackles and and just getting the ball and feeding it left and right. We want that guy box to box, taking a shot. So yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to see how he develops this season.
Right, let's clean up some of these other marks before we go into his stats. Curved has been a bit cheeky. Curved, we're not here to be negative. This is a positive thread, Curved. Sentiment saying, not seeing one leader at Arsenal. Well, okay, so I talked about the fact that Lokonga was a captain at Anderlecht, Odegaard, national team captain. Saka's growing into the role as a leader. He does his talking on the pitch, which is where it needs to be. And I'm looking for Ben White to really step up and lead this young line. When you look at Gabriel will be back soon. So look, I agree with you. Yeah, this team has struggled with leaders. I agree. But what I'm seeing is a young core of talented leaders in their own right who will take time to make this team their own. So if we can be happy with just that, then let's move forward and let's support and cheer on our young players and help them, watch them grow into fine young prime Arsenal heroes. Yeah, and because this is where it all starts, guys. When we had all those great teams in the past, this is how we did it. We got them young, we bled them in, and then they grew within the system, within the team, and they were leaders in their own right. Plenty of leaders all around. So I'm not saying that's the case now. I'm saying that that's what I hope for, and it looks like it seems that's what they're doing. Sentiment said as well, Maddison isn't a risky buy. He's a risk taker, and that's what we need. I don't think we need what was. When I look at the Pepe situation, so much backlash because of the price that we paid. And then we ended up bringing Saka up from the academy, who was a better player. So that was sort of where we were. That people were screaming at 72 million, and then we brought this guy up who cost us nothing from the academy. So look, guys, at the end of the day, I think that we're in the right spot. It seems that we're taking the right direction. The ages of 22 to 23, 21, 20-year-old players. It's going to be a young team when we start getting the Gabriel back and all those guys. It's going to be a very young team. Goalkeeper as well. We'll come on to that later on. But I'm starting to see the wood through the trees now. And you've got to give them credit because they've got their number one target. This was the guy they were after when the transfer market started, and they've got their man. Mr. Bungle, what's going on, bro? Mr. Bungle in the house, everybody. What's going on? Sentiment said, Brentford showed us the young players are not ready. Yeah, and a lot of that had to do with lastminute.com injuries, which weren't really injuries. Balogun shouldn't have started. He shouldn't have played. Martinelli did. I know Martinelli didn't have a holiday or anything, but he just looked off the ball. That team just wasn't ready to play, and you have to put that down to the manager. And even then, what can you do? You don't have Nketiah, you don't have Niles, you don't have Thomas Partey, you don't have Gabriel. Look, it was just a mess, and a lot of people saw it coming, and it happened. Curved is saying, really respect Apollo's positive viewpoint. I disagree with him quite a lot, but mutual respect is essential. I don't respect Vincey's chair. And a big shout out to Curved as well. Guys, my channel's cost is coming up again next month in September. So everything that you guys give to the channel is much appreciated. It goes towards paying for the channel to go up and provide you another 12 months, another year's worth of content. So I really do appreciate you guys. Don't know how much I appreciate all of your donation. It means so much because it means I'm able to come here and bring you a community service. A community service. That means you guys are involved in everything that we do. So thank you very much. Big shout out to Andrew as well. Thanks, Andrew. That's another £4.49 in the kitty. Guys, donations are from £2 upwards, and I really appreciate anything that you guys can give to the channel. It means a lot. We've got Gunnar here. Gunnar says, bang average player, I'm Norwegian, and I know this guy is not going to make us better. Well, you say that, but then let's go back to the fact that can we say that he didn't make us better when he was first in expected assists, first in chances created, first in final third passes, and second in possessions won in the final third. If that's not improving a team, then I don't know what is. Yeah?
Can I ask Gunnar a question then? Obviously, with you being Norwegian, do you think that Arteta is the man to, because this is your captain, this is your Norwegian captain here. So, do you think Arteta is the man to get the best out of Odegaard? And if not, as I think, the next manager, he will be hopefully a better manager who will be able to unlock that. So, Gunnar, if give us a comment back if you think that Arteta is the man with his tactics to get the best out of Odegaard, because you've seen him probably more than us for country,
Yeah.
and he's got ability. He's a captain, so he's got qualities which one can't deny. Is it a case where it may not just be the club, it may just be the manager, and a change of manager may be able to unlock what is your captain?
So I'm going to say something which is, that's a great point from Vinci, by the way, and I'm going to say something that you guys probably are not taking into consideration. Be careful what you wish for. And I say that because with a new manager comes new philosophies, new way of playing, and that doesn't always suit the players that we have. I'm going to mention one word to you, one name, that is Saliba. Yeah, it doesn't matter. A new manager can make you, or a new manager can break you. So when we're talking about Martin Odegaard with a new manager might not favor Martin Odegaard. And these are the things that you have to understand. It doesn't always work out in that favor. William Saliba was touted as one of the biggest talents at centre-back, one of the best, youngest talents. Arteta came in and Edu came in and it blew up. And he's never played for Arsenal. I predicted over a year ago he never will play for Arsenal. So when I hear things about Odegaard and a new manager coming in, guys, Arteta values Odegaard. Odegaard is an Arteta player. And this is the thing that this is why we say the team, this is our third transfer window. This is why we're saying Arteta needs 6 transfer windows, because he's got to bring in his players. He's got to bring in the players that he feels will let his system work the best way he feels is possible. And Odegaard is one of his guys. Big shout out to Alex. Alex said to get the best out of Pepe, he needs to have Cedric Soares. Soares is an accomplished right back. I agree, but I don't know why he's playing. And I'm a big Callum Chambers fan as well. Pepe has thrived under Callum Chambers. He scored 10 goals in 16 league appearances on the back end of last year with Callum Chambers. So I like Callum Chambers, and he didn't play well against Brentford, but I do agree Cedric Soares should be playing right back, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's the fact that we're hearing about Fenerbahce and all this other stuff. What on earth is going on? Has he fallen out with the manager? I really don't know. I mean, my inside guys haven't said anything.
I personally, I tend to look at the way how we move the ball, and it's a big issue for me. I like a certain style of football played, and if it's not being played, I can understand players of that ilk not being happy with training, not being happy, and that being affected while you're not seeing them in the starting lineup. It goes both ways. Players are moody, but also managers are stubborn. So, you stop and you think, okay, Arteta's got to find the right mix, because you can't be too stubborn and alienate the whole squad, because you're not going to get an output. So, Suarez, he looked good when he came on. And I agree with Apollo when he says that Chambers and Pepe have worked in tandem. So you'll stop and you think, okay, right, if you're going to have that and you're going to play Pepe, especially on that right-hand side, Chambers would be the man. But if he tinkers it and he doesn't have that continuity, then it messes up the continuity within the team. And that, again, comes back to the manager, because he's got players at his disposal who can make a difference and be functional. It's for the manager to get that. It's really down to him. There's no excuses. We've got to stop making excuses for Arteta. Yes, he's got to get his players, but he's been in there long enough where we should start to see a little bit more better consistency in the ball movement. He's got to start to get it right.
So we've got here, guys, and by the way, I've had this chart up here and we haven't even talked about it. So before I go back to your comments, let me talk about this chart. This was something I said in the video that I shot today, which I didn't release, and I wanted to cover it with Arsenal fans. And the reason why I wanted to do it is because there was a lot of fans that said on his loan period of Arsenal, and again, guys, look, the guy came in at the end of January. It's February, March, April, May. He was there for 4 months. Yeah, he was here. He was here for practically, because he didn't play much in January because we had to get the contracts to get him in. So he was here for less than half a season. Yeah, and a lot of people said, yeah, he played 15 games in the Premier League. He scored a couple of goals, and they don't really see him as a goal scorer. So why I'm showing you this is because when he played for Vitesse, he had 33 games, 9 goals, and 12 assists. Yeah, and that was a couple of years ago, 2019. He did, I think he was on, he joined Real Sociedad in November. So not half the season, but more than half the season. Played 29 games for them, scored 4 goals, had 6 assists. I know he had an injury. He was out for 2 months as well in that season. But the guy has scored in 2 seasons there. He scored 13 goals and had 18 assists. That's a pretty good return on your midfielder. So he is productive, guys. It just needs to find a place. Remember, this is where he was on loan. He just needs to find a place to call his home. And he's been searching for that for about 3 years now. So he's 22. He's come to London. He's played with Arsenal. He knows the Premiership now. He knows the system Arteta wants to play. He knows the players. So it's not going to be difficult him coming in and trying to find his feet. I think this is a very good deal for 30 million, guys. But what I'm actually saying to you is prepare for him to be getting onto the goal sheet because he can do that for you. Vincent?
I think that'd be again our biggest problem with Ozil. You don't score enough goals. You know, I mean, you can set up so many guys, but you're not scoring enough. If this guy can score goals, and as well as the guys make assists, obviously the chances that he creates, they put it away. 30 million is a steal. It really is a steal. And I said, the biggest thing for me, he's young and he's got sell-on value. That's one thing. If Arsenal want to be smart moving forward, they've got a player. If they want to sell him later on, we can make money off 30 million. With that talent, win-win.
Yep. So let me have a look at some of you guys' views here. Is Sentiment said his biggest concern is the lack of leadership at the back. Trust me, Ben Light. Ben Light is not the guy to replace Captain Louise. Height, strength, and so yeah. But I've got 2 words for you when it comes to leadership: Kieran Tierney and Rob Holding. And that's where we're going to. I know we're saying we ain't got it. But that's where we're going to have to look for it.
Yeah? And give him time. And give Ben White. Give him time to settle in. The debut is not easy, guys. We can't always hit the ground running. You know,
he's played 1 game. He's played 1 game. Yeah, he's played 1 game. So, guys, hit a like button. There's 30 people watching the stream. Hit a like button, everybody, please. Much appreciated. That it really helps the channel out. Andrew is saying, there's no richer benefactor with deep pockets striding over the horizon, so we have to seek whatever improvement can be achieved. It took Liverpool several managers. It took them 4 years for Klopp to build a team. We're in Arteta's 2nd year, and people want pink elephants and rainbows. It's just like, come on, guys. That's why I keep talking to you guys about expectations. If you understand, you know, all this word, trust the process. I know people take the piss out of it. Trust the process. Trust the process. But all it's basically saying, guys, is this team is a work in progress. That's all it's saying. It's a work in progress. We ain't ready by any means. We are rebuilding and we're in a transition. That's all it's saying. So when you hear fans getting frustrated and everything else, I get it. But for Christ's sake, understand what is going on here. This is a team that has failed 3 managers, and the players that they have are trash. I cannot say that with any more passion. They are not good, guys. These guys are terrible. They are not the answer. They have no future at the club, and we need to move them on. That's it. So we need to bring in young players for two reasons. One, because the young players have got the passion, the pride, they'll play for the badge, and they have got higher ceilings. They will be worth more in the transfer market in 2, 3, 4 years' time. You see all these players getting sold for 70, 80 million from other teams. We don't have that because we just haven't nurtured any young players. These guys are trying to do that right now, so we can't curse them with one hand and hit them over the head, and then sort of say they're not doing what they need to do with, on the other hand. They're trying to fix it, guys, and trying to fix it takes time, takes investment, takes transfer windows, takes money. And big props to Josh Kroenke again. I'm always giving him props. Josh Kroenke now over, what would this be now? This would be £340 million spent in the last 3 summers. Big props to Josh Kroenke for a team that has had year-on-year losses to find a way how to make the transfer system work for us. And I know it's front-loaded. I get it. I know it's front-loaded. I accept that there's going to come a summer in 2023 or 2024 that we don't buy nobody because we get into a situation that Jurgen Klopp was in last year where he couldn't buy anybody. We get that. I'll take it because I'd rather you spend the money you was going to spend in the transfer market in 2023. Spend it now. We need it now. So spend the money now. And when 2023 comes, I don't care if you don't buy any players because I want the players on the team now. So I am happy as Larry to go within the summer where we do not spend any money because we've front-loaded all of our costs, and on the back end, the deals come to collect. Yeah, I accept it. I'll take it.
And I think the key thing is, I know my frustration with Arsenal is that they don't scout well and they don't plan well, especially when players' contracts are going down. So I understand what Apollo's saying about front loading. You don't have to spend money just because you got money. You spend money because you need to upgrade. And we've got to get to that stage where we don't need to spend money. So our investments have to be right now. Our setup play, our formation and management has to be on point because that's what's going to allow us to not spend money and save. And then when players do become available, young quality players, we can snap them up. That's something that, for me, Arsenal have always had good young talent, but there's better young talent out there if we can get them. Just like when Arsenal got those young talent, you stop and think. When Arsenal got Thierry Henry, I was over the moon because I knew what that guy could do. Arsenal shouldn't have been able to get a player like Thierry Henry, but we got a player like that. That's what I want to see Arsenal doing moving forward. You get a player like that at that young age, at that good price, we're in good business. It's all down to the manager after that.
Yeah, agreed. And G is saying, I'm glad that we ended up with Odegaard and not Maddison. Odegaard continues to have potential to be a world class someday, whereas Maddison has reached his peak. Atta says, guys, Odegaard wants to play in Arteta's system. Spot on, brother. 100%. You know what? I'm going to I don't hand these out often, but I'm going to give that a big thumbs up. Yeah? Guys, sometimes we forget. I think Arsenal fans have completely forgotten the fact that we're not in Europe and we're not a commodity. We're not a big move. We're not a big. We're a big club, but we're not in a big club in the upper echelon of where we're playing our football. We can't attract those players anymore. Going to Arsenal is a lateral move, or if you're moving from Real Madrid to Arsenal, it's kind of a downgrade. I don't care what you lot want to say. You lot might say, "Oh man, we're Arsenal. We do all the, we're the Invincibles and we're all this stuff." I don't care about all of that. Right now, we are not an attractive commodity to any player.
I think the biggest thing right now is that we approaching a World Cup year. We're lucky. To get Odegaard right now. If it wasn't a World Cup year, forget it. You won't get him for 30 mil. No chance.
And the fact is, Awar is sitting down and Awar's been saying, yeah, I want to come to. I wouldn't mind coming to Arsenal. They've been after me for 2 seasons now, but I want to go and play in the Champions League. He has had, and I know this from first off, nobody calling him at all. He's right now. Leon are on the phone to Arsenal saying, "What's going on, man? We already dropped the price. Why you still want him? What's going on?" I
And
would do. Sorry, go on.
and you know why Awar wants to come, because again, World Cup. He played under 21s. He wasn't
Yeah,
at the Euros.
yeah.
He wants to be in that French team.
hmm And I think it would be. I tell you what, guys. Last week I made a video saying this is one of the worst Arsenal transfer windows I've ever seen. You bring in Odegaard, okay? So you're making me. You're not making me smile, but you're not making me vex anymore. I'm not vexed anymore. Yeah, I'm kind of. You brought my attention to the table now. Follow this up with a big deal. And I'm not talking about Aaron Ramsgate. I'm not talking about, to me, that's a proper degger deal. Yeah. I'm talking about you bring someone like Owar in. You bring someone like Owar in, I'm on board. Yeah, I'm on board. Because what it does is it completely rewrites the whole problems you've had in the midfield. I remember in midfield, remember the three musketeers, Rosicky, Fabregas, Nasri. We even had Kleb on the team. Them guys their ability to play with the ball at their feet was second to none. Yeah.
That's football, man. You keep the ball, keep ball. You're talking about possession. You should be able to hold the ball under pressure. Kleb, you couldn't get the ball off him. So you get players who are comfortable under pressure, holding onto the ball, completely changes the dynamics of how we move the ball. Completely.
And for me, guys, we had Robin van Persie up front. We had that team should. Why do you think that Sanya, Van Persie, Nasri, Fabregas? Why do you think those players was upset? Because that team was good enough to win the title. The problem is that Wenger never invested in centre backs. We were leaky as hell. Our defense was bang awful. Yeah, and guys. A lot of you that said, "What has Arteta done? What has Arteta done? He's crashed. Get rid of him." Look, I agree. Arteta's got some awful tactics. Some of the stuff he's done is laughable. I agree with all the mistakes he's made, all the players that he's failed to bring up and nurture. Guendouzi, Torreira, all those players. I agree. I'm on board. You're not wrong. I'm right there with you. But where I'm apart from you, where I don't sit with you, is because I understand that Arteta is trying to make changes. I've seen those changes in the first 6 months when we won the FA Cup and we were balling teams over in the league. I've seen what good. If the team is working to perfection, I've seen how good it can be. And the defense, he's fixed the defense. Last season, 39 goals that were let in. That's third best in the league, second best on set pieces. It's a shame David Luiz isn't here. I think we might suffer a little bit with that. But I've seen what good looks like. I've seen the improvements. So when I see things like what he's trying to do with this, with Odegaard and the young players he's brought in, I can see it working. Arteta, guys, has done something that no manager has done here for over a decade. We've got Thomas Partey. That's a spine. That is right through your middle. Yeah, that is something. What did Wenger do? Bring in Xhaka, bring in Mustafi. Yeah. What did Emery do? What did any of those guys do to bring in a spine? People have always said Arsenal's got a weak underbelly. They're spineless. All of this stuff. Arteta comes in. He brings in two boss defenders and he brings in a boss midfielder. The only thing is he hasn't followed up on the midfielder part yet. That's why I'm saying he needs to play Lokonga next to Partey and then put Smith Rowe in there. If he does that, we're singing. We're singing. We're cooking with gas, people. Yeah? If he does that, we're cooking with gas. I don't like the negative vibes with he who shall not be named, but I guess we'll have to see how that plays out.
I'll tell you one thing, though. It'd be interesting, fans are looking for additional players coming in, but I'd be interested to see if Arteta can keep hold of Ainsley Maitland-Niles and get that guy playing. That would be a huge coup. I think that'd be huge to keep hold of him because the guy,
in a 4-man midfield, there's nobody better.
you can't. I
There is
keep on saying
nobody.
that.
He's like the Terminator. You tell him to take a player out. I see this guy take out Mane. I see him take out Sterling. I see this guy take out Armand Traore. Yeah, Wolves. I see this guy take out Riyad Mahrez. I seen this guy take out some ballers, and he made the England team because of those performances. And in the last year, we have done nothing with him. Why? Because we've moved to 4 at the back. And the 4-man midfield in the 3 at the back system isn't used much anymore. So that's, if you guys have got any questions and sort of maybe a lack of understanding of why that's the case, that's why it is. It's the same way that Walcott used to terrorize defenders, give left backs fits, nightmares. And the reason why that stopped is because Wenger changed the system and he needed more of a conventional wing back. That's why the Ox took over, because the Ox could defend and he could attack. He wasn't great at attacking, but he could play possessional football really well. He was good with the ball at his feet and he defended well. That's why Theo Walcott got moved out of the team. And not because he wasn't productive. Like I said, he scored 19 goals in his last 27 games for Arsenal. Could you imagine if we had a player on the team like that now that gave you that kind of productivity? Yeah. So that's where I'm measuring Pepe. To me, Pepe has to get to that Walcott level where he's just terrorizing defenses. And for me, Pepe needs to get behind the defense more. He plays too much in front of them, too much shimmies from Pepe. You need to be more direct. Walcott was a direct player. He was roadrunner. Yeah, just boom, straight into your defense, right along your back line, scared the living daylights like the goalkeeper, created a lot of one-on-one situations, which is why he had so many goals. At the moment, we kind of don't have that. So we have to sort of really understand the tempo that what Arteta's trying to build here, he doesn't have the right players here to do it. So that's going to be something that's going to take over time. But at the same time, Arteta needs to stop getting out coached, man. He needs to get better with his tactics. He needs to come in with much better game plans, because against Brentford, he got rolled over. Gunnar is back, and Gunnar says, I'm not sure if any of the managers will get Odegaard to get to that next level. Well, again, you say that, but I just went through the numbers, which are exactly on the screen. He's one of the best. He's one of the best players, creative players for Arsenal. The numbers are right there. We can talk about all these other things. As Jay-Z says, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. Yeah, and we're looking at the numbers right there. Odegaard is our best creative player, bar none. There isn't a player in terms of expected assists, chances created, final third passes. There is not a single player on the team better than Odegaard. That is a fact. We are looking at the evidence right there.
I think I'm just looking at what Gunnar's saying there, and I'm just thinking, if our strikers finish their chances, maybe we'll see Odegaard's stats improving a lot more, because if he's saying that he's at that level now, the only thing missing from this is people putting away those chances that he's creating. Yes, he may not have blistering pace, but he's got his brain. His brain is so astute, which is very key in the Premiership, to be able to come into an Arsenal team under so much pressure and stand out. You know, let's be real. We were an embarrassment of a football team last year, and he stepped in whilst injured, whilst trying to prove himself, and shone. That's saying something, that this guy, you know, he can pick a pass. You know, he may not be best with pace. Don't think pace is everything, because look at Pirlo. You know what I mean? The guys, he knows what players who know what to do with the ball can compensate in areas where they're deficient.
And that is the reason why you're seeing this. D is agreeing with you right here with his comment. Odegaard is a good player who would have had so much more assists if the strikers put clear-cut chances away. He's enough. Is he enough? No, Arteta. Well, that's the reason why we're saying two things here, D. We're saying to play the double number 10 role, it wouldn't be a double number 10. It would be more of an 8 and a 10. With Smith Rowe and Odegaard, find a way for that to work. The second thing is bringing a war. Could you imagine? We talk about Rosicky, Kleb, Fabregas, Nasri. could you imagine a midfield with Aouar, Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Saka? I mean, like that is big. That's pure gravy. That is pure gravy. If you're a striker, how would you not want to play in front of those players? And then Martinelli, Pepe. Look, I can start to see the wood through the trees, guys. But you have to continue to bring in more help. If you get an Aouar, it's job done. And you can get him for next to nothing. You can get him for peanuts.
And I think it's good business because also you're not burning out your Smith Rowe. You know, the guy's got talent and he's going to progress. If he progresses the way how Saka did under Emery, because I'm going to discount last season for Smith Rowe. If he can do that this year, how Saka produced in Emery's first year, big plus, big plus.
Saka had 14 assists.
Yeah. So to get in OR inside there, you have a versatile midfield where Arteta shouldn't have any more excuses, where he can match players to the opponents. Because that's the key thing. You said at the top of the show, you know, being out-coached, you may be out-coached due to fatigue and injuries, but when you've got personnel who are fit and ready to play, you shouldn't really be out-coached because your tactics should be able to, you know what, work on them in training. And we've got the time now to work on these things in training. This is where Arteta, you can't make excuses for him.
And look at what D's saying. D's saying, I remember him putting 6 or 7 chances for Aubameyang on the plate in the last, quarters in the Europa League. And obviously it didn't work out. Yeah. Also in the Premier League, he says here, in the Premier League, had another several chances on the plate, but the striker squandered them. Odegaard could have easily had 10 assists. That's why I'm saying we should play Martinelli up front. I really am. I'm done. I mean, I'd be happy with Eddie Nketiah up front. With what I saw against Brentford when the ball was being passed through, none of those guys were running in the box. Nketiah makes a living in the box on the 6-yard line. And when I saw them balls getting played for, I was like, where's Aubameyang? Why isn't Lacazette running into the box? Like, it's just like, you know, Pepe and Saka are playing balls into the box. Like, that's all they're doing. That's why people are talking about the donut, where the ball goes around at the top to Martinelli or Saka. It gets played through the box. Nobody gets on top of it. Comes back to Pepe. Pepe plays it around. It comes back to Lokonga or Xhaka, and it recycles itself around. Because no one's getting in on the end of anything in the middle. Yeah. Lacazette ain't doing it. Aubameyang's not doing it. Eddie Nketiah, that's what he does. But I get that he's injured. He's not back till September. But I'm saying when September comes back in, I want, if they're not playing Martinelli, then I want Eddie in there. I want a poacher. I want a fox in the box because there's so much creativity. And look, Nketiah, how good did he look on the left in preseason? when you look at Aubameyang on the left hand side, how good was Nketiah in the preseason on the left hand side? So I would not get rid of Nketiah. I wouldn't get rid of Niles. Reece Nelson, I'd probably put him on loan. I'm a big Nelson fan. I don't want to see him go anywhere, but I think he needs a loan. I just think had Willian been sold, I would have said, keep Nelson. But because Willian is still here, these guys are with us like cancer at the moment. We can't get rid of them. I think that Reece Nelson needs a loan. Atta says, also, this obsession with goal-scoring midfielders, I think it's more important to supply our attackers than bring in a player to contribute 8 or 9 goals. Odegaard is a magnificent investment. Agree on the last part, but I think when you have midfielders who can come in and score goals, it makes your whole team better. Arsenal's best teams in history with Merson, Rocastle, Fabregas, Nasri, Aaron Ramsey, Lundberg, Robert Perez. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on. Our greatest teams had midfielders that could get you double-digit goals.
Mobile midfielders. That's mobile.
I might not agree with you on the first part, but I definitely agree with you on the second part. Seeing this team, the problem is with Arsenal, because midfielders can't score, you're just like, where the goals coming from? He just the thing about Brentford in every preview that I read said, "Where are the goals coming from?" Yeah, nobody knew where the goals were coming from. So, so what's next for Arsenal, guys? Hold on, there's another comment here. Who's a comment from? It's from Randolph. Randolph is saying, "Why has it taken so long for the club to sign?" Because of the same reason that I explained with Joe Willock. Newcastle wanted Willock at the beginning of the transfer window, but we needed to take him in, have the conversation, see what was best for both parties. The same thing, Carlo Ancelotti just took over Real Madrid. He knew that Odegaard was our first our target. They said 50 million last season. They said 40 million at the start of this transfer window. He had a look at Odegaard. They couldn't get rid of Isco and a few other players, which meant that they had to use their commodity. And the commodity is if you can get money in, which is important. Remember, Arsenal hasn't got money in so far. Joe Willock was practically the first one, although they had got rid of Guendouzi for peanuts. But you have to sort of get rid of those players, and that takes time. At this point in time, Odegaard knew what he wanted because he realized his dream of playing for Real Madrid wasn't going to happen. Arsenal always was there for him. So Odegaard pulled the trigger. He said, yeah, Arsenal's the only place I want to go. Done his medical today. The medical, what time was I was there at 1 o'clock at the training ground. The medical was done at 1 o'clock. And everybody's happy, but things like that takes time. There's 3 parties in transfers. The club that's selling, the club that's buying, and the player. And all of those things have to sing in unison. Sentiment says, no, Rob Holding, Arsenal captain, no, he needs to go. He's a part of the failure. Okay, we're not here for negativity, remember, guys. It's a positive day for Arsenal. Kuke says, bang on again, Apollo. Spend it now and worry about it later. Atta also says, our current primary creator without Martin Odegaard has been Kieran Tierney. If you're talking about games played, because Pepe didn't play a lot of games, it's actually Pepe's one of our most creative players. The problem is Arteta didn't play him. He didn't play him. 16 games out of 38 is barely a third of the games. He didn't play.
The key thing with that statement is he's right in the sense that what Kieran Tierney does, he's a left back, but when he gets in the left back position, he's very creative. He's not afraid to get in there, get across, positivity. If we can get that balance, the key thing is Arteta's got to get that balance to allow your Pepe to come inside, your Saka to come inside, take shots, your Smith Rowe or Odegaard to go behind and play those triangles. Once you have that overlap, once you have that confidence in that right back, left back position, you can start to be creative. Right now, it's like we're playing football with both laces tied together and trying to run, and it's not pretty.
Right, guys. So before we go, we just want to talk about some breaking news. David Ornstein has just said that Arsenal are on the verge of an agreement with Sheffield United to sign Aaron Ramsdale, 24 million and 6 million in add-ons. So, oh God, I mean, we said we're not going to be negative in this one. Let me try to be positive. So, with Aaron Ramsdale, is it a good potential move for him? It's definitely a great move for him. It could be potentially a good move for Arsenal if it works out. Look, he's a young goalkeeper. He's 23. He's had a couple of seasons under his belt. Relegated with both Bournemouth and Sheffield. And Arteta is open to letting go Bernd Leno leave this summer. So what does he offer? In my opinion, he's well-rounded. I talked about Leno was a great shot stopper, poor distribution, poor at set pieces. This guy's decent at set pieces. He's a good distributor, and he's okay as a shot stopper. So he's a promising goalkeeper. He's still 23 years old. Because of his distribution, he reads the game well. He knows when to come out and claim or knows when to stay on his line. That's something which I admire about him, but he's just not the finished article, guys. I tell you what, he reminds me of Szczesny just before he left Arsenal. When Szczesny left Arsenal, people were saying, shall we hang on? He's not ready, but he could be ready. And what happened was he was ready, and he ended up playing for Juventus. And had we kept on to him, we would have been able to find that. I think that Aaron Ramsdale is in that part of his development where he's definitely not ready, but he could be in the next year or two. I just think that Sam Johnson he's cheaper at 20 million. He's taller. I think he's a better shot stopper. And I just think that he's an overall better investment. So, yeah, what's your thought on it, Vincey?
It's hard. I mean, I don't know much about Ramsdale. I'm just looking at the fees here, and I'm at the back of my mind. I'm just thinking, Martinez, a season ago, what did we flog him for? And I'm looking and seeing what we're doing now, and I'm just like, why does our club do this foolishness, man? It's just.
Well, and again, the reason is, guys, is because he's a homegrown player. And if we do get rid of the Willocks, the Niles, the Nketiahs, the Reece Nelsons and all of that stuff, then we are seriously struggling with our quota. Remember, guys, the rules are you have to have 8 homegrown players on your roster of 25. And Arsenal are struggling. That's why Ben White was brought in. That's the reason why they're looking at Ramsdale. I can't even say the man's name properly. That's why Ramsdale's been brought in, because they have to bring in a crux of homegrown players.
Can I ask if Bellerin does go, does that make it even worse for us because he was a homegrown player?
Yeah, I mean, again,
I do think, but I know I'm a big fan. He's an agent wannabe, and I actually do think that he could actually go before the end of the transfer window. But again, with this quota, Bellerin going, I think that's going to get us in even more trouble.
Yeah, and that's the reason why we're seeing all these moves. They are proceeding to stockpile on all of their buys to be assessed with the homegrown rule, because they're stepping on dangerous ground at the moment. And we don't have long to fix it. There is, let me look at the date now. It's the 18th of August today. So you have 13 days. You have less than 2 weeks. So that's the reason why we're seeing all these moves to be done. Look forward to somebody else probably coming through. That may not cost a lot of money, but what do you do? I mean, they are in this situation because some of the players don't want to be here anymore. Some of the players, the young players, want to go. I mean, if I was Maitland-Niles, I'd be fuming. You stopped me from going. You stopped me from going to Wolves, and I made the England team, and I'm nothing. What am I now? England's not even looking at me anymore. No. What's my market value was 25 million with Wolves. What am I worth now? 10 million, 15 million.
And that's why I say he could be like a new signing if Arteta, sucks some pride, get this guy back into the team. He can make a difference. And the fortunes, trust me, the fortunes of Arsenal this season could change drastically. If Maitland-Niles is included in our play. And it will definitely help the homegrown. Definitely.
Yeah, it would. Big shout out to my cousin Michelle. I hope everything's going all right. Look at the picture there of my little baby cuz. Yeah, big shout out to my little baby cuz. A lot of guys on Facebook at the moment, they haven't signed waivers. So I've got all of these messages coming up, but I don't know who sent them. On the top of the stream, guys, you should see something saying StreamYard needs your permission to show your name. You have 2 clicks. The first
That's
click
Calvin.
to go into that. Yeah.
Calvin Thomas. Thomas.
So that's why we can't see what you're saying, because you haven't done those 2 clicks just for you to give permission to show your name. We all know how everything works now, but let me see which one. This is from Calvin. Calvin says, not sure of this keeper, but Leno's not been great. Yeah, I think they've been they have, because of the Martinez situation, they are still 2 years later covering for their mistake. Yeah. And it's not just Martinez. Let's forget about Martinez. It's Matt Ryan. You had somebody there on a free. He wouldn't cost you nothing. Now you're having to spend 25, 30 million just because you had someone there, and it didn't happen. And Matt Ryan's an Arsenal fan, so why would he not want to stay here? All these things I'm hearing about, yeah, it didn't work out between the two parties. That's not why I heard. He wanted to stay, but I think, and he would have been fine if he wasn't first goalkeeper. That's the thing as well. You got to find something that works for everybody. So, guys, thank you for joining us for some really good news. Let me take down this Aaron Ramsgate thing because that's not good news. that's not good news at all. But guys, Arsenal signed Martin Odegaard on a 5-year deal. Really positive for Arsenal. Look forward to our creativity vastly improving. If you look at the fact that the team on the back end of last year had the second best record, Pepe was on fire, Smith Rowe was on fire, Odegaard was our best and most creative player in the team. Callum Chambers was fantastic as well. My only concerns, I've only got 2 concerns in the team so far. In the midfield, who shall not be named, because he weren't a part of that 5-game winning streak. So for me, he's disrupting the balance. This team cannot carry players. You need players who are going to be able to produce something in this team. And if you're not producing anything, if you're not creating, if you're not defending, if you're not intercepting passes, if you're not winning duels, if you're not doing any of that stuff, then as far as I'm concerned, you're a carrier. So you guys can come with any numbers you want, but all I know is he's the least most productive midfielder we have. And I don't want to neg anybody out. What I'm trying to tell you is I want ballers on the team. So give me a Lokonga, give me a Partey, give me a Smith Rowe. That's my midfield. If you buy a War, fling the Pitney in there as well. I don't business, yeah? But I don't want this team to carry players. We cannot carry players. If we are going to break into the top 6, we need to play 11 against 11, not 9 against 11, which was the case for quite a long time last season, especially in the case of Willian. So that's my thoughts on where we are at the moment. Vincey, any final thoughts? Any final words?
No, man, I'm just looking forward to Chelsea, man. I want to give you a heads up. I'm predicted 2-1 at the start of the season. Even though Lukaku's there, 2-2. I still believe it's going to be 2-2. I do believe, we've got a good record against Chelsea. And we just got to play smart. I'm just really looking forward again to how the youngsters perform. And if Odegaard can come on, you likely wouldn't start, but if he can come on, what a lift for the fans. That's what you need. So
I'm just my sad and disappointing feeling this weekend is that we didn't have Gabriel, a man who's a beast when it comes to duels. We didn't have him to put on Lukaku. Could you imagine? I'm paying good money to watch this game. In fact, I know I'm a season ticket holder, and the average season ticket price only works out to about £44 per game. But against Chelsea, the cheapest ticket, guys, is £85. And the most expensive ticket is about 127 quid. So that would be, to see them, to see Lukaku and Gabriel going at it is just a dream come true to me. But, I think Arteta's been doing some updates, and they're definitely not going to be ready. Partey, Gabriel, Nketiah are not going to be ready until September. So it's a real shame. A real shame. So, guys, that's it for me. Oh, I've got one more. I can't leave this guy out. He's on Facebook. He's on 101. It's Joel Gordon. Joel says, hopefully these signings will give the team a lift just in time for Chelsea. There's always a buzz when signing comes in, and we need that. And that's why we're being positive on this podcast. That's why there's a few negative comments on there. I should shoot you guys. I should fling them down. I should hit you with a penalty for that. Yeah. But, no, this is a really good podcast, and it's been great to smile for once this week. And positive vibes right now going into the Chelsea game. And I think that it's a good thing, man.
Yeah, man. I just say it's tough. I understand fans' views, and it's deep concern. It cuts deep. So I know Apollo doesn't want the neg today. He wants to get the upliftment, but I can understand the concern. It's a long season. we don't want to lose you, family. We want you to come back, and enjoy this ride and watch the development of our kids, because this is what we love, and fingers crossed, Arteta is going to come correct, because I've got every faith. If he doesn't, next man will.
Yeah, true.
Next man will, so.
For real. All right, guys, that's it from us. I hope you guys are doing well. And if you're not on the one-on-one forums, by the way, the description is in this video below. Just go to the video. I'm just looking to make sure that I put it in, because I was naughty last time when I said it wasn't there. It is. If you just go into the comment section below, you can see under the description, it says you can find us on Facebook, Arsenal #101, and the link is right there. Click the link, and then me and my moderation team will let you in, and you can see daily, hourly, up-to-the-minute updates of Arsenal news. And come in and talk to us. There's 4,000 of us in there. We'd be happy to see you and meet you and bond with us, because we love Arsenal Football Club. That's it from us, guys. Speak to you later, man. Peace out. Right back at you, people.
Stay blessed, guys. Enough love.